Alisson fires it forward, and Salah's on the twist, and Mo Salah's away, and Mo Salah scores in front of an exploding Kop.
Okay, to the football, Rog. Liverpool 1, Manchester City 0. Yet another chapter in a modern classic fixture. It began with a nervy Anfield willing strength into an injury-hit backline of Andy Robertson, VVD, Joe Gomez, and sprightly 43-year-old James Milner, who kept the fearsome City attack at bay in the first half, both teams lacking the cutting edge to break the deadlock. In the 55th minute, City had the ball in the net, Phil Foden pouncing on a Haaland touch around Alisson, but his celebrations were cut short. Referee Anthony Taylor spotting a foul on Fabinho by Erling Haaland, who had grabbed a fistful of the Brazilian shirt like an 80s TV bully. With the game heading into its final 15 minutes scoreless, City were beginning to apply the chokehold in Liverpool's final third. Alisson Becker, however, had other ideas, leaping like the most handsome salmon to pluck a 76th minute KDB free kick out of the air, spotting an already streaking Mo Salah, and launching a 70-yard kick for the Egyptian to win against a flailing João Cancelo. He bore down one-on-one with Ederson. He curled it into City's net. Anfield went insane. Salah's sixth lead goal against City, the third time he has come out of it as the match winner.
A mid-table team shocks the defending champion, Davo. I mean, Premier League, anyone can win on their day. But who saw this coming? Honestly, few of us before kickoff in this post-Haaland world. A gap between two rivals that was merely 1 point last season seemed suddenly so seismic as Klopp entered the game, moaning about his team, owned only by American sports billionaires, and how they couldn't cope with the long-term infinite petrodollars of Manchester City. And he may still be right. You know, Liverpool having a season worse than the British pound. They began in 11th place, buoyed by stomping on Rangers' carcass midweek in the Champions League. 372-second hat-trick for Mo. He's back when he plays Scottish teams. And Liverpool fans singing Klopp's name in delirious joy, hoping they just witnessed a season turnaround. It felt a little bit like they were clutching at straws. But what did you expect, really, Davo, as Liverpool entered this one with a defensive crisis, injury after injury? James Milner stepping in. It was a bit like watching Ted Williams come out of a cryogenic chamber and reinsert his head, get back into the game. Joe Gomez returning. But this was against Erling Haaland, Gregor Clegane in cleats, a team, City, who become to football what Mike Tyson had been, just knocking out one opponent after another in the opening seconds of the fight. Did you really think Liverpool had a chance?
No, I really didn't. And shame on me for underestimating Jurgen Klopp and this Liverpool side. I loathed his pre-match comments, Roger. I absolutely loathed them. I don't see any point to them whatsoever. But
they were almost mitigating against a loss. He was almost setting himself up. Like, if they got thrashed, then he'd do it, as I said. I mean, the reality was we didn't have to activate them. They just kind of hang there like a floaty because it was a slow burn of a start. Liverpool content to let City do their passy thing, seeking to counter. Did a lively Harvey Elliott. Huge credit to Jurgen Klopp. When we look back on this one, he chose Milner, he chose Elliott, he chose Gomez, and all three raised eyebrows, and all three were brave, all three were focused, all three were honestly magnificent as City charged calmly and ominously forward in those eerie fluorescent yellow jerseys, tempting to move Haaland into position like a chess player, thundering their queen out the back. And Liverpool flickering into the spaces in behind on the flanks. Their best chance fell to Robbo, Ederson stranded, but the Scot was dazzled by the lights, blasted it high and wide. It was clear pretty quickly, Davo. We were watching something spectacular.
Yeah, it was spectacular. I doubt we'd get that kind of an atmosphere in Orlando during pre-season, Roger. It was all situational about the sort of all these fixtures, this rivalry between Manchester City and Liverpool, about the incredible rivalry that exists between, the two cities and these two managers. And it was incredible stuff, end-to-end stuff. The physicality with which the Liverpool back line particularly VVD and Joe Gomez, were playing against Haaland. I think you mentioned a few weeks ago, you used the analogy of the Lilliputians against Gulliver. It really was that kind of stuff. But they sent out their biggest Lilliputians against the Norwegian.
Throw a net over him. Throw a net over him. And at the other end, you had Salah flourishing, charging everywhere. Almost, stung by who does he think he is, this new guy that everyone's talking about? I am here. I am still here. I am still doing my thing. And Klopp played him centrally, and he was charging around. When he did threaten, Bernardo Silva popped up somehow in all spots to thwart him. What an unsung bald hero that bloke is. And Haaland, contained, as you say, by Gomez and Virgil. There was a moment when he chested down and Thiago slipped in and hooked his boot right up between the Nordic giant's legs. And honestly, it was like watching a hero try to ensure for the rest of the world that there would be no future generations of the Haaland line.
Yeah, there was a lot of cleat on Grundle violence this weekend in the Premier League, more than we usually see.
Yeah, but I mean, I've got to say, Thiago, I know you're listening. God bless you for attempting that on-field vasectomy. But, love, listen to me. Robots don't reproduce like humans do, baby. And Haaland had grinding like a human, says the robot. Haaland had one first-half chance. Dude is now so automatic. I think Peter Drury, as he rose up to head, adopted his goal tone. He did his Haaland!
And there's Haaland!
Even though the Nordic meat shield just nodded it tamely into Alisson's arms, we just expect, almost every touch of it should just be an instant hat-trick. And there was a moment where Drury actually summed up the first half. He just shouted, "Brilliant players playing well." And it was such a simple thing to say. But he wasn't wrong, Davo. It was high performance. It was also high intensity. And it was tactically engrossing with passion. It was like all the four boxes of football were ticked in this one.
Yeah, and the only two people who seemed completely out of sorts were Jurgen Klopp and Pep, who were just behaving more and more bizarrely on the sidelines, as far as I could tell.
By the way, if human beings in real life acted like they were both for those 90 minutes, it would be an astonishing thing to witness. Just no one would want to go near them. But because they are elite football managers in context, we looked on just in wonder. Pep in particular, just the gesticulations were, next level. This heel Pep that we've seen over the past two seasons, almost trying to put one in the eye of the Anfield faithful, only inflaming them more. And second half, Bobby Firmino. God, what an excellent Firmino essence he's having. Sprang Salah, sped in, and was only denied by Ederson. Just a magnificent finger to the ball, which redirected it wide. Anthony Taylor, the referee, missed the touch, awarded a goal kick, and from that injustice, Haaland suddenly hurtling in on goal. Alisson came out bearded and beautiful to smother. Ball somehow chipped loose off the Norwegian giant's robot feet, and Foden swooped in to smash home from an acute angle. Delirium for City for a moment. The two of them racing away, almost taunting the crowd, feeling it. But then VAR kicked in. At first, Davo, we thought it was because of the Alisson bobble. But VAR likes to run it back.
VAR has an infinite memory. It can go back a long way. VAR works really hard to disallow goals. It's not why it was brought in. It was brought in, we must remember, to promote more goals being given and to take away bad decisions that disallowed goals. But in the end, it really works hard to stop goal scoring and stop great moments.
Not just that, there was a foul in the build-up. A falling Fabinho was tugged backwards by the shirt. Anthony Taylor sent to the screen to check his own ruling. This is why we watch, to stare at shiny bald men staring at screens. And he ruled the goal off. Pep going bonkers on the sideline. Anfield, a cauldron. And I wonder, Davo, do you think it should have been allowed? It was a foul, but part of what made this game so bloody special was that the referee, Anthony Taylor, he let so much go in the hustle and bustle and grey area of shithousery. There were a lot of shirt pulls that he did not penalise, but when VAR kicks in, suddenly that's taken out of context, and a foul Anthony Taylor probably would have let go becomes a game changer under the microscope. Liverpool's defensive backline, a reprieve for a unit that was so brave throughout. Gomez, spectacular. I mean, this entire game really was an incredible advert for the Premier League. Two teams tactically grappling, repelling, probing, hammer, tongs, the whole bloody ironworks, bending, not breaking, until it happened. Straight off, it should be noted, a KDB overhit free kick. Alisson spots Mo Salah. Alone in single coverage. I think Liverpool fans always feel something great's going to happen whenever Alisson slips over while he's kicking it. It means he's just so excited. He's seen something. And he had. Cancelo got too tight. Yeah. Really a product of Guardiola's philosophy of aggression, risk-taking at the back line. Win that ball back immediately. But as opposed to conservatively covering, he suddenly let the Egyptian king, who'd been physical, he'd been hungry throughout, he span off the defender. I mean, that spin, Davo, it was like watching an Egyptian Barry Sanders.
Yeah, it was an amazing move, amazing vision from Alisson. Who poor KDB, just, for once, his free kick delivery was not superb, and that's what it resulted in.
Anfield, though, that record. We got to take our hat off to Anfield. A place, a state of mind, a record, an incredible record. One loss in 5 years in the league, and that was fanless. The magical, mythical kingdom, the noise, the passion, the wonder, it continues. But this was a game that was run by one man, really, Jurgen Klopp, and his tactics and his decisions, playing a front two for much of the game with Mo in the centre, delivering a much-needed victory when, my God, defeat would have just the trajectory, the sliding doors trajectory does not bear thinking about. And it was his mind, and it was his passion. And I've got to say, I am so bloody glad, Dave. We both know how quickly the love can turn to hate in England. And yeah, we've seen the cries of Klopp out. It's time for him to go. And to watch him essentially over the course of 90 minutes pick up his halo again. Yes, he was red carded, so he would have had to come down from the stands, pick up that halo, dust it off, pop it back on. The English people live to tear people down who they once idolised. And I've got to be honest, I don't know, Davo, humanly, if I've got it in me to watch Jurgen Klopp, who's a remarkable, empathetic leader. I don't know, in a world in which empathy is being stomped on all over the bloody world, even as an Everton fan, I know I'm meant to hate. I know I'm meant to feel only hate and anger, but I don't. I don't think I could take Klopp being crapped on by Daily Mail readers. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't think it's the Daily Mail readers who will get him fired. It'll be Liverpool's own fans. You sort of did a bait and switch there, but yeah, look, you are despite being an Everton fan, you are a big Jurgen Klopp guy. I must say he aggravates me sometimes. I can't quite get over that pre-match talk. I didn't like it at all.
Why? Just say why, David. Why?
Well, because it just is, his company are owned by hedge fund billionaires, and there is so much money at Liverpool. It's different than being owned by a nation state, but it's not a billion miles different. It's pretty similar. It's not like he's running Burnley. It's he has plenty of money to spend. He has an international all-star cast of players and a massive squad to choose from. But even more than that, it's anti-competitive. It just is such a lame thing to do before you play a game, to basically build your excuses before you do it. I don't like it when you do it, Rog, before Everton games, and you're not even involved in the club, really. I just do not like it. It's giving up. It's creating like it's okay for us to lose this or draw this, and it's trying to take the pressure off yourself. I just don't like it. It's anti-competition. I just don't enjoy it.
But all hail Manchester City. That was an incredible game of football. I think City fans can be incensed by the ruled off goal. The invincible season was over. City, this is more impressive, have not lost an away game since the opening match of last season, 21 undefeated. That record's gone. First loss with Haaland riding behind their flag. But I think deep down, when all that burns off, Pep's tinkering, the three at the back, Foden playing too deep to really hammer at Milner. When you think about that rationally, that will confound the fans once the emotions do burn off. And on this night, Pep, who's never won at Anfield with fans, just kept repeating post-match, "This is Anfield," as if it explained everything, like Jack Nicholson at the end of Chinatown, "Forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown." But they lost the battle, Davo. I still believe, I don't know if you do, they're still going to obliterate everyone and win the war.
Yeah, look, I think where I will give Jurgen Klopp a lot of credit is for how he dealt with Haaland. And that's not just playing very physically against him. It's just the whole way, they drew him in, where they gave him the space, and about how they closed him down with, multiple defenders and multiple players in addition, by the way, to VVD and Joe Gomez. I think you're going to see now other teams are going to employ the same tactics. Here's the playbook now. They're going to employ the same tactics against Man City. And Pep will now adjust too. Pep is one of the great adjusters. So I think we'll now see him adjust to the way that he's tactically played in this way. And Pep will come out of this. Man City will come out of this also stronger. More than anyone in the world, I would like to say Arsenal's title to lose at this point. But it is still going to be a very long season. Liverpool are awakened. Chelsea are coming back. Tottenham are very, very good. Man United are much better than they were. And believe me, Man City are going to be there with a shout at the end of the season.